Hey, how's it going out there? You guys are tuned in to the GM podcast. Alongside of me is my co-host, Gabby. Say what's up to them on this beautiful morning Thursday.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be alive.
All right. Today we got to talk about nature and how nature affects us on our daily lives. I mean, if honestly we all don't have this perspective because there's a lot of people that don't get in touch with nature. But for those that do, this podcast is for you.
Well, let's first start off by saying that people who are city people and that have never really been turned on by nature, they are doing themselves a bad service to their minds, to their bodies, to their souls. Let me tell you something. We take nature for granted because it's free. We take nature for granted because it's easily accessible. And so nobody really gives a damn. We grew up with trees. We grew up with mountains. We grew up seeing water. We grew up seeing oceans. Well, specifically here in California. But we take it for granted. We are so busy making money, busy buying stuff, busy collecting things that are not going to feed us. They're not going to improve our health or our mentality. So this is another puzzling thing on why humans act the way they do. I know that it is part of our society for us to act a certain way and to be a certain way. And we've been led to believe that the material things
Are what matters.
Exactly. That's, a lot of people think the material stuff is what matters. Take that away. Or actually, no. Take the nature away. And you quickly realize that we can't eat money. We can't eat our $200 shoes.
Well, you're taking away the natural resources.
You're taking, of course, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, people don't realize. Okay, so now that I kind of got my rant out of the way, I want to read a little Google search on nature and its benefits. This is what it says. Being in nature or even viewing scenes of nature reduces anger, fear, and stress. It increases pleasant feelings. Exposure to nature not only makes you feel better emotionally, it contributes to your physical well-being. It reduces blood pressure, your heart rate, muscle tension, and the production of stress hormones. Wow. And it's free. Like I said, because it's free, people take, when something's given to you and handed to you, it's human nature, I guess, to just take it for granted. Exactly. And it makes me really sad. I'm a huge nature person. I didn't realize that I was a huge nature person until I met my ex-husband 20 years ago. He's really into camping and fishing and all of that stuff. And he kind of introduced me to that world, the camping world. And so I'm very fortunate that my sons, as newborns, were exposed to nature. And they love fishing. They love to escape, with their dad, and they go lake fishing, river fishing, all that freshwater stuff. I love camping. Just because I'm not married anymore doesn't mean I have to stop. You and I went camping, partner, for your birthday, not just us, but the family and friends, and it was an amazing time. I feel like it is a necessity to be exposed to nature. Necessity. I have a lot more to say, but I want to get your 2 cents about this, partner.
Well, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Now that you say that, I don't have a good quote to read because I'm driving. But, I do have personal experiences with nature, and all those things that you touched on, yeah, they're very factual. You can escape. For instance, if you go hiking, if you do any type of activity outdoors, it's very beneficial for you to breathe in that fresh air. Okay, we're dealt with shitty pollution in the places that we live in, with LA and all this stuff. So if all that oxygen is good for you, I mean, obviously it's not, but we have to deal with what we're dealt with. So, and you escape to a mountain area where you see that there's fresh air, you see that there's oxygen, and you get in touch on a different level. You know, there's no rush. There's nothing in your way of hiking a freaking mountain and actually breathing in the stuff that's actually good for you. Nature is, it compels you. It actually holds you. It fortifies who you actually are. If you think of our ancestors and how things were in the beginning for them, they had no shoes, they barely had clothes, and they were hunters, they were farmers. These things, we've taken them for granted. We don't even do these things anymore, especially with people with like pretty good, decent backyards. There's people out there with really good backyards, and they take that for granted. They don't farm. They don't use their backyard as they should, and it's very unfortunate. But I will tell you this: my ex-boss, he has a decent sized backyard, and he actually taught me how to farm. He taught me how to plant seeds, how to grow from the root of it. And once you start to touch the soil, you become a part of it. And you leave the seed with good intent. You leave it with a good heart. You leave it because it's just like birthing, earthing and birthing. So these seeds, they become one. So they become rooted into the soil, which you also have once became that soil, but now it's just you're leaving it for the fruit, for the fruiting, for the loins. It's for you to enjoy in the long run. Are you familiar with any type of farming, partner?
No, I wish I knew how to. That's something I really want to learn. I know we have a little bit of time as far as, we're always working and stuff, but I think that not only do you, I believe that it is a person's responsibility to not only have retained certain knowledge on history, how our government works, how our finances are supposed to work, but I believe that we have lost, what you just said, we have lost how to plant our own vegetation, how to hunt, because obviously we're in the city. We don't really, the necessity of hunting, it's unless you are into a sport of hunting, you don't really need to do it because you just got to go to the store and buy it. But God forbid something happen, something catastrophic, something where the stores are shut down. We kind of seen it during COVID. We've seen it during COVID where all the stores were shut down. Not shut down. The food was scarce because everybody was so greedy. And not that they were greedy, but you're thinking about your family. But you forget about other people. You forget about the elderly. You forget about the people who really need the food. And so there was nothing. It's a very scary feeling to go to the store, because I went to the store to try to, buy groceries for my house, and you were lucky to find a carton of eggs. So growing your own food is not only, I believe, it is something that must be taught and learned, but I believe it's a responsibility to know. I want to kind of touch bases again on how nature impacts your mind, your body, and your soul. You know what? Very interesting. Hopefully, if you have a chance, whoever's listening, if you have a chance, go to your backyard and take a look at a leaf. Take a look at a leaf and take a look at your hand. And you will find striking similarities. The veins on a leaf are similar to the veins or to the lines on your hand. Right. It's fascinating. I want to also, there's a couple of vegetables, fruits, and seeds that look very similar to the human body, to the organs. For instance, the walnut. You crack open a walnut, it looks like a brain. Studies found that a walnut actually provides nutrients to the brain. How is that? Explain to me. There's another one. Kidney beans. They look like kidneys.
Yeah.
And the kidney beans are meant to provide nutrients to the kidneys. I'm just gonna go real quick. Mushrooms. Mushrooms look like ears when you put them up sideways. They look like ears. There's another one real quick.
I thought you were gonna say something else about mushrooms.
The carrots. Carrots reflect the eyes. I'm sorry. Yeah, carrots reflect the eyes. When you cut the carrot and you look at it, it looks like a tree stump, but it looks like an eye.
Right.
It's fascinating. There is a reason why nature is so I guess you can compare it to the human body. Like if you find, for instance, like I said, go as simple as going to your backyard, look at a leaf, look at your hand. You know, another one that's really crazy, the tree. When you look at a tree, like with the
Once it's cut down?
no, not when it's cut down. Like when you look at the anatomy of a tree, it looks like the anatomy of the placenta when the baby is in, like the placenta. That's what I'm trying to say. Just Google this stuff, guys. Hopefully if you have a chance, Google it and you'll see what I'm talking about. The placenta, the baby, if you guys don't know what that is, the baby feeds off of it. That's its lifeline. Look at what the placenta looks like, and look at the life of a tree. It's the tree of life. I mean,
A couple of years ago, there was a fire in the Amazon of Brazil, and it was pretty drastic, and they actually resemble of what human lungs look like.
yeah.
You delete that portion of it, and you're left with the smoky, cancerous lung. And you know, if you were, I think you could go to Google. I'm not sure if Google Maps has updated their
Images.
yeah, the images of the geographic part of that. But if it'd be interesting to see if that actually exists. You know what I mean?
You know, it's really fascinating. I remember when I used to camp a lot more back then than I do now. I want to get back into it, and it's something that I'm not just saying it. Like, I'm literally going to get back into nature. I want to get back into camping. But years ago, when I used to go camping a lot, it was my thing, because I was always so stressed out about work, and I was always so on edge about, you know, whatever I was dealing with at the moment. I would take a book, right? And while the boys were fishing, I would go with them. I would set up my little area. I would, you know, read a book, or set up a little hammock or a little cot by the water, and I used to just lay there, or I would just sit there, and the serenity. I can't explain to you what I used to feel, but oh my God, the stillness and the calmness that would take over me. It's almost like this musical environment. You hear the water, you hear the little rustling of the leaves, you hear the birds. The whole thing is harmony. And I used to knock out in such a heavy sleep. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I used to knock out for about an hour while the boys would go out fishing. I used to knock out, and I would just lose track of time. And when it was time to pack up and go, the energy that I would wake up with, like, oh man, like, oh, that felt so great. I used to go back to the campsite and, you know, cook up some dinner or whatever the case may be. But I used to feel so amazing after that short amount of nap by the river. It is something that I hope people can experience. Just lying there, listening to the harmony of nature. Oh my gosh, I love nature. I love nature, and I take care of it as best as I could. I know we could do a lot better. I know I could do a lot better. But I think nature is obviously it's here. We should take advantage of it. We should take care of it and conserve it. You know what really pisses me off? That when I hear fucking the government and NASA, how they want to put all these billions into the stars. How about cleaning our backyard first? How about cleaning our oceans and taking care of the things that actually provide life? Instead of let's go explore this star billion. I understand science is important. I understand it. But why not put some of that budget into going back into our nature, into our parks, into our oceans, cleaning them up, actually putting some effort, because they don't put effort. They don't put effort. And it's sad that maybe one day our grandkids, great grandkids will not be able to see what we could see. So privileged out the window.
Well, I think it starts with the community. It starts with us. It starts with the people around us. And it starts with as simple as a friend or a family member. And the thing is that government can't control us for a very long time. Of course, they have the money for it, but they can't control on how the community behaves in a way where we can start being resilient towards our future. Because keep in mind, these people are there's no way in hell that they can keep us from enjoying our futures when it comes to vegetation, when it comes to these natural resources. And not to mention that nature itself is very resilient. It'll grow back. You give it some time and it'll grow back. And the thing is that we need to start being, like we said earlier, we need to start being one with nature so that we can start being more resilient to the things that we've already lost. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. And you guys already kind of know how I feel about the whole systematic. We were kind of systematically put into this world or this type of lifestyle. We're all doomed for failure in our own way. Like, if we don't pay attention to what really is important, if we don't pay attention to our core values and our morals, we are doomed for failure as a society, as a civilization. That's a whole nother podcast. But I believe if you pay attention to how I speak, you'll realize that that's really what I'm trying to say. So let's go back to basics. A lot of people shit on people like, oh, you're too old-fashioned. Trust me, old-fashioned is good. Technology and this and that, we gotta keep up with the Joneses, you know what I'm saying? But being old school ain't bad. Having old school values like family, life, the creator, in my case, God. It's not bad to feel like that. It's not bad to think this way, because this is what held the nation for a really long time together, right? I know I'm kind of jumping to another subject, but I want to also really quick is you and I discussed, partner, how there is something called earthing, like earth, ing, earthing. This is a actual documented term. This exists. And I'm going to read you a real quick summary of what it is. Earthing, also known as grounding, refers to the contact with the Earth's surface electrons by walking barefoot outside or sitting, working or sleeping indoors connected to conductive systems. Some of them patent. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. The transfer of energy from the ground. So basically what it's saying is, if you make actual skin to earth contact, the earth passes electrons to you. It recharges you. That's amazing. It is amazing. I believe in God, and I believe that how is that even possible that the earth connects with you in that manner? That to me is amazing, and it's a miracle on its own. It's like a battery charging a human being. That is amazing. So I wish and I hope that I kind of got through to people.
For instance, you have a dog, puts his paws on the ground and it's one with nature. It knows who it is. It knows what it is. A dog will always know what it is and knows what it's bound to do. They're in touch with their nature. They're in touch with the things that they have around them. Am I right?
Yeah, and that's why they say, hey, have you ever seen that meme that says, why are dogs so happy? Why are dogs such happy creatures? Because, you know, they're supposed to be a man's best friend. And the meme depicts a dog sitting next to his human best friend. And the human best friend has all these things he's thinking about. Finances, bills, problems, relationships, kids, all these things. And then the dog is depicted on just thinking of that moment. It's beautiful. We're so busy creatures, busy human beings, that we forget to really sit and chill. Sit and relax. Go to the beach, close your eyes, sit alone with your own thoughts. Try to, you know what's a really good tactic that I've been trying to do for myself? Sit alone in a room, dark, hopefully, if you could. Sit alone in a dark room and control your mind. Because your mind races. For some reason, when everything around you is quiet, your mind starts like going 100 miles per hour. This and that, and then you're just like, shh, relax, calm yourself. I'm trying to do that, and it feels so good just to breathe in your own thoughts, in your own mind. Sit for a minute. You could call it whatever you want, meditation, self-reflection, but it feels good. And in fact, you know who also got me to kind of, the reason I got into that is because Napoleon Hill says, before you start your morning, get your prayer out of the way, sit in silence, and the longer you could sit in silence without thinking about absolutely nothing is even better to start your day. Because you are your own boss of your thoughts, of your body, of your limbs. Learn to control your desires, learn to control your thoughts, your negative thoughts especially. So that's kind of what I had to say, partner. This is a topic that is really close to my heart because I love nature. I love the earth. I love everything it has to provide for us. And I'm glad that my sons have been exposed to it. And I love the fact that my sons love it as much as I do. And I taught them at a very young age, as toddlers. We used to go to the river, to the lake, and we used to see trash on the floor. And I used to tell my kids, pick that up. Pick that up, because if somebody doesn't take care of the earth, you take care of your backyard. So that's just really what I had to say today. I really hope that people just kind of consider what I had to say. Go out, please Google the images that I presented to you or that I talked about, so that you can see what I'm talking about. Nature's beautiful. Let's take care of it.
Speaking of nature, I just saw a pretty cool van right now. It's a landscaping and maintenance guy, but his business name is called the Sod Father. It's freaking brilliant. And it's see how things manifest in ways that you can see in the future. It's really crazy that we need to. It's very important, actually, not crazy. It's very important that we take care of what we have now.
Yes.
And to preserve it. Always preserve, because we're not gonna have it forever.
Yep.
So, yeah,
not the rate we're going.
Yeah, the rate that we're going, it's going out. It's going out the window. And let's teach our kids. Let's teach our kids how to be how we want to be. I mean, it's hard to tell somebody, but if you have good intentions, and you have a good heart to actually teach people on how to take care of these things, I think they won't take it for granted once they get older.
Right.
But that's all we got for today. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. You guys have any subjects, anything you guys want us to cover, please let us know. Email us. You can even comment on our YouTube podcast page. And that's it, you guys. Have a good day out there, and keep pushing. Peace and love, guys.
Peace and love, guys. Keep your head up.